Have you ever felt like your brain is full, but you're not getting anything done? Like you're busy all day, but at the end of it, you wonder, what did I even do today? That feeling, that quiet frustration isn't your fault. It's a sign of living in a world designed to steal your attention. Every day, your phone, your apps, your notifications, your feeds, they all fight for your focus. And if you don't take control of it, someone else will. But here's the truth. Focus is not something you're born with. It's not some rare gift that only a few people have. Focus is a skill, and just like any other skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. This is the core idea behind the book. Master the Art of Focus by Suman. This script is a simplified, powerful summary of that book broken down for you. Not in theory, but in a way that you can actually use. We're going to walk through what focus really means, why it's hard to hold on to, and how you can build a life where your attention works for you, not against you. Let's begin by understanding the problem. Focus is under attack. We live in the age of constant distraction. Our attention spans are shrinking, not because we're lazy, but because everything around us is designed to break our concentration. Scroll 1 second, swipe the next, ads pop up, messages ping. Algorithms watch your every move. And the more distracted you are, the more money big tech companies make. But focus is not dead. It's just buried under digital noise. Your brain is capable of deep, clear thinking. It's just that we've forgotten how to use it properly. And to fix this, we need to understand one key thing. Focus is a muscle. If you don't train it, it gets weak. But if you train it consistently, it gets stronger every day. Imagine going to the gym and lifting weights. You don't start with heavy lifting. You start light. And over time, your strength builds. Focus works exactly the same way. The more you train your mind to stay with one thing, to not jump from task to task, the more mental power you build. But here's the challenge. We live in mental chaos. The book calls this mental entropy. It means your mind is overloaded with too many thoughts, distractions, and open loops. When your mental space is full of half-finished thoughts, random worries, and shallow information, your focus has no room to breathe. It's like trying to write a book while someone keeps changing the channel on your TV. The solution is to build mental clarity. And that starts with simplifying your environment. Ask yourself, what is stealing your attention? Maybe it's your phone, your notifications, your cluttered workspace, or even certain people. The more noise you remove, the more control you gain. But focus is not just about cutting distractions. It's about building something stronger in their place. And that something is called structure. Your brain needs structure. It needs a rhythm, just like your body needs sleep. Your mind needs patterns. If you wake up every day with no plan, no direction, and no priorities, you're inviting distraction in. That's why one of the biggest lessons from the book is to take control of your day before the world does. That might mean starting your morning without checking your phone. It might mean blocking off time for focused work, or it might mean setting clear limits on how much time you spend online. These small habits create a mental fence that protects your focus. Now let's talk about energy. Focus doesn't exist without energy. If you're tired, if you're burned out, your brain won't work properly. You can't concentrate on deep work if your body is running on empty. That's why your health, your sleep, your food, and even your breathing all play a role in your ability to focus. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to support your brain the same way you support your body. But even energy and structure are not enough without purpose. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. That's where the concept of vision comes in. Vision is about knowing what kind of life you want to build. And the best way to find that vision is to start with what you don't want. Think about it. What kind of life do you never want to go back to? Maybe it's a job that drained you, routine that felt meaningless, a version of yourself that was always lost, always scattered. That's your anti-vision. It's a powerful tool, because once you know what you don't want, you can start moving toward what you do want. When you build your life around a clear vision, your focus becomes natural. You no longer chase every shiny thing. You choose what matters. You prioritize what moves you forward. That clarity, that purpose gives your mind direction. And direction is what focus is all about. But don't worry if you don't have everything figured out. Nobody does. Vision doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be clear enough to help you say no to things that don't align with it. That's where real focus begins, not with saying yes, but with knowing what to say no to. And if you've ever wondered why some people seem to stay focused no matter what, it's not because they're superhuman. It's because they've built systems around their focus. They've created daily habits, mental tools, and personal rules that protect their attention. That's something you can do too. And in the next section, we'll show you exactly how. But for now, just remember this: your attention is your power. Where you place it, your life follows. Every day, you make a choice to give your focus away or to take it back. And if you're ready to take it back, you've already made the first step. Let's keep going. In the next section, we'll go deeper into how focus, energy, and experience work together and how to train your mind like a high-performance machine. The kind of machine that doesn't just react to the world, but shapes it. Are you ready? Let's continue. Let's dive deeper into the core of the book, the 3 pillars that control your ability to focus. Focus itself, energy, and experience. Think of them like gears in a machine. Each one turns the other. When they work together, your life starts to run with power and clarity. Focus is where everything begins. It's your ability to place your mind on one thing and stay with it. But focus isn't just about attention. It's about intentional attention. It's the difference between watching videos for 3 hours and reading a book for 30 minutes. In one case, your brain is reacting. In the other, it's creating. When you're focused, time feels different. You're not watching the clock. You're not thinking about other things. You're fully there. That state is called flow. And it doesn't come by accident. It comes when your brain is clear. Your energy is steady, and your task is meaningful. That's why mastering focus isn't just about cutting distractions. It's about building the inner strength to stay with what matters even when it's hard. Now let's talk about energy. If focus is your steering wheel, energy is your fuel. You can have the best goals and the best habits, but if you're tired, stressed, or mentally drained, you won't make it very far. Your brain is a biological machine. It needs sleep. It needs food. It needs breaks. When you ignore your body, your focus pays the price. Think about the last time you tried to focus after 5 hours of sleep and junk food. It doesn't work. Your thoughts are foggy. Your willpower is low. That's because your mind is deeply connected to your body. It can't be separated. So if you want to increase your focus, you have to manage your energy. You don't need to become a health guru, but you do need to pay attention to the basics. Start with your sleep. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Keep your room cool and dark. No screens an hour before bed. Your brain needs deep sleep to reset your attention. Then look at your food. What you eat becomes how you think. Too much sugar, too much caffeine, and your energy spikes and crashes. Focus loves steady, clean fuel, water, whole foods, simple meals. You don't need perfection. You just need consistency. And finally, take breaks. Your mind isn't built to work for hours non-stop. That's a lie we've all been sold. True focus comes in cycles. Work hard, rest well. Focus in sprints, not marathons. That's how you avoid burnout and build long-term mental strength. The 3rd pillar is experience. This one is powerful. Experience is how you turn knowledge into wisdom. It's the only way to truly grow. Reading is great. Learning is great. But if you don't apply what you learn, it stays in your head and goes nowhere. Experience turns focus into results. Every time you act on what you learn, your brain builds new pathways. You're literally rewiring your mind to become sharper, faster, and more confident. And here's the secret: experience isn't about success. It's about learning through doing. Mistakes, failures, trial and error, that's the real path to mastery. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall again and again, but each time, their brain adjusts. Their body learns balance. Their confidence grows. Focus works the same way. You try, you fail, you adjust. And with every cycle, you get better. So how do you use experience to build focus? You start by doing small, meaningful things every day. It could be writing for 10 minutes, practicing a skill, finishing a task you've been avoiding. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to engage your brain in real action. That's how experience fuels growth. Now, let's connect all three pillars. Focus gives you direction. Energy gives you fuel. Experience gives you growth. Together, they create momentum. And once momentum kicks in, everything changes. You stop overthinking. You stop hesitating. You just move with clarity, with purpose, with confidence. But even when you have these pillars, distractions will still try to pull you away. That's normal. Distraction is a part of life. The key is to stop letting it control you. One powerful way to do this is by creating what the book calls a system of mental clarity. It's a way of thinking and organizing your mind so that you can return to focus anytime you drift out. Start with awareness. Notice when you're distracted. Don't judge yourself. Just observe. What are you doing? How do you feel? What triggered it? This simple act of noticing builds self-control. It gives you the power to pause and choose differently. Next, simplify your input. Your mind can't hold too much information at once. If you're following too many people, reading too many opinions, watching too much content, you're overwhelming your brain. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Start curating your inputs. Follow fewer sources. Listen to people who help you think, not confuse you. Then, protect your space. If your environment is full of chaos, your focus will suffer. Clean your room. Turn off notifications. Use noise-canceling headphones. Create a space where your mind feels calm. You don't need a perfect setup, just a clear one. And finally, give your brain rest. True focus needs recovery. That means disconnecting from screens, taking walks, spending time in silence, letting your thoughts settle. That's how your mind resets and rebuilds its strength. When you create mental clarity, focus becomes your natural state. You're not forcing it. You're flowing with it. You're working with your brain, not against it. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Focus is a skill. Energy fuels it. Experience strengthens it. But how do I actually apply this to my life? That's where we're headed next, because focus isn't just about productivity. It's about building a life you want to live, a life where you're not chasing random goals, but building your own path based on your values, your vision, and your personal power. In the next section, we'll explore how to design your own vision, how to escape distraction loops, and how to turn your life into a game worth playing. You're not here just to survive. You're here to create. And when you master focus, creation becomes your way of life. Let's move forward. You're doing great. Now that you understand how focus, energy, and experience work together, let's talk about how to actually apply all of this to your daily life. Because knowledge is nothing if it doesn't lead to change. The first big idea here is escaping the loop of distraction. You know what the loop feels like. You open your phone to check one message, and suddenly 30 minutes are gone. You sit down to work, and 5 minutes later you're watching a video, scrolling, clicking, liking, switching between tabs. It's not that you're lazy, it's that your mind has been trained to chase stimulation. Distraction gives us small hits of pleasure. Every notification, every new post, every quick swipe tells your brain, hey, this feels good. Let's do more. But what's really happening is that your attention is being chopped into smaller and smaller pieces. The longer you stay in the loop, the harder it becomes to focus for even a few minutes. So how do you escape it? You don't fight distraction with willpower. You replace it with intention. That means designing your environment in a way that makes focus easier and distraction harder. You don't just try harder, you get smarter. Start small. Put your phone in another room when you're doing focused work. Use a physical notebook to write down your thoughts. Block distracting websites during your work hours. And most importantly, create daily time blocks where you do just one thing. No multitasking. No jumping between tasks. Just one thing, fully. That single habit, focusing on one thing at a time, can change everything. Now let's talk about vision. One of the most powerful ideas from the book is that focus is not just about narrowing your attention. It's about knowing where you want to go. When you're not clear on your direction, your brain wanders. You start chasing every new idea, every trend, every opportunity. You spread your energy thin. And eventually, you burn out. But when you have a vision, everything changes. A vision doesn't have to be a big, perfect 10-year plan. It just needs to give you a reason to wake up in the morning, a reason to say no to what doesn't matter, a reason to say yes to what does. One trick the book shares is to start with your anti-vision. That's the version of your life you absolutely don't want. Think of it like a warning. Ask yourself, what kind of life would make you miserable? What kind of person would you hate becoming? What job? What lifestyle? What habits would drain your soul? Maybe it's a life where you're always broke and stressed, or a life where you're always saying yes to things you hate, or a life where you feel like you're invisible, like nothing you do matters. That anti-vision becomes fuel. It pushes you to move away from what you fear and toward what you desire. Once you know what you don't want, it becomes easier to figure out what you do want. Maybe it's freedom, or peace, or creative work, or meaningful relationships. Maybe it's just the ability to focus deeply, feel good in your body, and end each day with pride. Your vision is yours. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's, but it needs to be clear enough to guide your focus, because without vision, your mind drifts, but with vision, your mind locks in. Here's another powerful concept from the book: life is a game. And once you start treating it like one, everything becomes more fun, more challenging, and more meaningful. Most people are stuck in someone else's game. They're following rules they didn't choose, goals they didn't set, expectations they didn't agree to. That's why they feel frustrated, because deep down, they know they were meant to build their own path. When you treat life like a game, you become the player, not the pawn. You start setting your own rules, choosing your own quests, and upgrading your skills like a character in a video game. There are two levels to the game: the macro and the micro. The macro game is your big vision. It's the kind of life you want to build, the legacy you want to leave, the values you stand for. That game takes years to master, and that's okay. The micro game is what you do every day. It's the habits you follow, the skills you learn, the projects you complete. These are the small wins that level you up. When your micro game supports your macro vision, you feel aligned, you feel powerful, you feel unstoppable. But here's the key: don't make the game too easy, and don't make it too hard. You need to find that sweet spot where the challenge is just slightly above your current skill level. Not so easy that it's boring, not so hard that it's overwhelming. Just enough to stretch you. When you live in that space where you're growing, learning, pushing yourself just enough, that's where flow happens. That's where deep focus lives. That's where your best self comes alive. And if you ever feel stuck or lost, go back to your vision. Ask yourself, what kind of game do I want to play? What do I want to build? What do I want to master? Your answers will point you back to your path. So to recap this part, escape the loop of distraction by creating intentional systems. Build your vision by starting with what you don't want. And treat life like a game that you get to play, design, and win. These ideas aren't just motivational, they're practical. They're tools you can use to take back control of your mind. And now, we're ready to move into the final section: how to create your own skill stack, build personal projects, and turn your growth into real value for the world. Because focus isn't just about doing less. It's about becoming more. Let's finish strong. You've come a long way. By now, you understand that focus is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build step by step, day by day. You know the importance of energy, experience, and clarity. You've learned how to break the loop of distraction, define your vision, and treat life like a game worth playing. But there's one more part of the puzzle. Focus isn't just about sharpening your mind for the sake of it. It's about using that focus to create something real, something valuable, something that moves your life forward and makes an impact in the world. And to do that, you need to build what the book calls a skill stack. Now, what is a skill stack? Think of it like this. Imagine you're building a toolbox. Inside that toolbox are different skills, some soft, some technical, some creative, some practical. The more tools you have, the more problems you can solve. The more problems you can solve, the more value you create. And when you create value, opportunities come to you. That's how you win in the long game of life. But here's the trick. You don't need to be the best at any one thing. You just need to be good enough at a few things that work well together. For example, maybe you're decent at writing, okay at designing, and pretty solid at communicating. When you combine those, you can build a blog, a personal brand, a small business, or even a career around teaching others. Focus isn't about doing one thing forever. It's about combining your strengths in a smart way. That's the power of a skill stack. And every day you focus on learning, practicing, and applying, your stack grows. So where should you start? Focus on two types of skills: evergreen skills and results-based skills. Evergreen skills are things like communication, self-awareness, critical thinking, problem-solving, discipline, and learning how to learn. These skills never go out of style. They apply everywhere. Then you have results-based skills, things like copywriting, coding, video editing, marketing, content creation, or selling. These are skills that can create real outcomes, skills that people are willing to pay for. When you combine evergreen skills with results-based skills, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for permission. You start building. But don't just learn skills in isolation. Learn them by doing. This is where most people get stuck. They keep learning, keep reading, keep consuming, but they don't apply. That's why the book strongly emphasizes learning through personal projects. A personal project is anything you build outside of formal work or school. It could be writing a newsletter, creating a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, designing a product, launching an online service. The project doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Something you can point to and say, "I made this." When you build projects, you engage your full focus. You stop thinking in theory and start thinking in action. You learn how to solve real problems. You discover what works and what doesn't. You become a creator, not just a consumer. And here's the beautiful part. You can use these personal projects to serve others, to teach what you've learned, to share your journey, to solve problems that other people are facing too. That's where meaning lives. In creating value, because the ultimate focus isn't on yourself. It's on the value you give to the world. When you solve your own problems and share those solutions, you attract people. You build trust. You create something bigger than yourself. You stop being just a learner, you become a leader. And that brings us to one of the most powerful ideas in the book. You are the product, not in the social media sense, where you're being sold for clicks, but in a deeper sense. Your life is your message. The way you think, live, act, and focus, it becomes your signature in the world. Everything you do, every skill you build, every project you complete, it all becomes part of your story. And that story becomes your greatest asset. It's what people remember. It's what people follow. It's what creates opportunities. So don't wait for someone else to validate you. Start now. Learn something new. Build something small. Share your thoughts. Teach someone what you just figured out. That's how you grow. That's how you build momentum. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stay focused, keep building, and trust the process. Every small win stacks. Every failure teaches. Every project sharpens your mind. And that's what it means to master the art of focus. It's not about being perfect. It's not about locking yourself in a room for 10 hours a day. It's about choosing what matters, removing what doesn't, and moving forward with clarity and courage. You don't need $1 million business or a fancy degree to master focus. You just need to decide right now that your attention belongs to you, not to your phone, not to algorithms, not to random opinions. To you, your attention is your power. Where you place it, your life follows. So ask yourself, what do you want to build? What kind of life do you want to live? What problems can you solve? What value can you create? And then, take the first step. Close your tabs, mute your phone, breathe, and begin. The rest of your life is waiting. Asterisk if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more life-changing book summaries, and share it with someone who needs to hear this.